So we guys are in Calgary enjoying our vacation in this beautiful part of Canada. If you guys are already watching our Calgary road trip, you probably know by now how beautiful is this part. And I'm not even sure why we have never been to Calgary before in this 9 years of staying in Canada. Who said you can't have a fun with a toddler? Of course you can. Come. As you guys know, we have been living closer to Toronto from so many years, and seriously, by this time we always thought we are living in the best part of Canada. The second best after BC, because we find we have everything in Ontario. But to our surprise,
Calgary is.
It's far better than Toronto. Of course, it's not that huge, that big, as crowded as Toronto, but it definitely gives you a vibes of any big city.
Now, we will tell you why. There is a reason behind it. But you have to stay till the end of the video. We're going to talk about the housing market. We're going to talk about the jobs, the salaries here. Great salaries, by the way. We are real estate guys, you guys know, right? We love talking about different houses in different cities, what you can afford as a first-time home buyer or even second-type property. But before talking to that, it is mostly important to know what's the job and salary situation in the city. Because what is the point of having a house if you don't have enough salary?
Now we all know that Calgary, being a part of Alberta, is actually the center of all the oil and gas company. So there are big players like Suncor, Shell, and Bridge, which give the maximum opportunity of jobs to all the population. So if you're a mechanical engineer or the electrical or anything related to oil and gas experience, you have a great potential to have a good employment here.
But oil and gas is not just one sector who is employing people here. Thanks to the digital transformation of healthcare and financial sector and even the oil and gas sector, there are a lot of IT jobs, at least in past 5 years.
And this sector is actually booming. In the next 5 years, Calgary really want to step up in their game of bringing in more IT infrastructure.
With the big companies like Microsoft, SAP, Cisco, they're hiring a lot of people in IT background, and as usual, they need people like test engineers, network engineers, software developers. So if you are one of those looking jobs in IT, it's a great place for you. Now let's talk about the most important thing, which is money. What are the salaries here in Calgary for all these different jobs? So let's take one of the example. Let's take an example of software developer. What a software developer can earn in Calgary versus what are the salaries in big cities like Toronto, Montreal, or even Vancouver. So a software developer may be working in different technologies, mainframe, Java, whatever. The average median salary in Toronto is around $104,000. In Calgary, a same person working on the same technology for same experience can earn up to $98,000.
Even though there is a difference of few grants, but the main factors that goes into consideration, the cost of living, the cost of expenditure is way less in Calgary versus Toronto. If you are working in any of a financial sector or with any of a major banks in Toronto, you probably might be picking up around close to 67 grand on an average or median, versus if you apply for the same job, same position, same company in Calgary, you probably will gonna pick on an average 68 grand. A little bit better, right?
So now let us compare another important position. Say for example, you are working in a mechanical branch and you're working as a heavy mechanic operator, and if you apply for one of the jobs in Toronto, the average rate per hour for that position is around $29. Whereas for the same position, if you apply and work in Calgary, the average rate is $36. That's a huge difference.
The overall point is, regardless which sector you pick, there is a comparable salaries in Calgary versus any of the other big cities in Canada.
So it's been more than a week that we are in city of Calgary and we love it. We spent all this time not only on the tourist spots but also exploring different neighborhoods. Why? Because we wanted to feel and we wanted to see where actually locals live, where the different type of houses are, neighborhoods are. We also talked to a bunch of subscribers and different random people we found on the street.
You know, the first thing that we really like about Calgary after meeting the locals here, that you can easily afford a house here. There is a house for every single budget. We have met a Uber driver who has been driving the car, but he can easily manage to buy a house for himself. And if you guys haven't seen that video, we'll try to put a link somewhere.
I'll put it
On the screen. On the other side, we have met few couples from the banking sector and they have also bought the house. So this is really amazing. Unlike Toronto or maybe Vancouver, where the struggle of buying your first house is like, I can't even describe with the words, the fight.
Most importantly, a person working on a minimum wage can also afford a house in Calgary. And that is a very amazing thing, because living under your own house and earning a good money, isn't it that a dream for every working class family? And that what the Calgary offers you.
Okay, so further ahead, now let's take a little deep dive and get you guys familiar with the house prices in Calgary and what are the great popular neighborhoods here.
But before that, let us again remind you what is the current housing structure, housing scenario in whole Canada right now.
I hate that.
If you're gonna look into this map, you can see that an average price for a house, say in Vancouver, is $1.1 million. Whereas same house in Ottawa or Hamilton gonna cost you around $700,000 or $750,000.
You know what? I'm being mean, but I can put you on a market for 1.1 million. And I'll buy you later on with depreciated value.
And I'm not gonna depreciate. Under this whole same market, you can see that the average price in Calgary for a house is $494,000. And that's we're talking about a really good detached house. That's what the median price comes from. Now there are some markets like Edmonton and Winnipeg. They are different markets, we're gonna talk about that in other videos, but that is the complete picture right now. And on top of that, CHMC has recently reduced its requirements, the mortgage requirements for insured mortgages. So say for example, they have reduced the requirement for the credit score to 600.
TDS and GDS.
TDS and GDS, okay. So they have also increased the debt ratios for the GDS and TDS. They've increased a little bit while. So what it's gonna help is gonna help the first time home buyers to get more money out of, to save more money and to borrow more money.
Now, talking about the property, of course, if we can manage to get a job here, the next step for us is to buy the property. Deepak has always stayed in the detached houses, our previous two houses, if you have been aware of that. He don't want
I'm a very noisy person, so if make noises in the townhouses, people are gonna be very annoyed, right? So buy detached houses.
He's quite high maintenance. I would rather put it that way. So he don't wanted to step down from detached. So we started doing a little research for this guy to make him happy. On an average, 1700 square feet detached house in Calgary is around 590,000 Canadian dollar. Of course, depending upon the neighborhood. I'm talking with a new neighborhood, which we're gonna talk soon in this video.
Well, that 590, you will get a really good property. And our second best option is buy a semi-detached house. A semi-detached house, we can get it for like 490K. So that's even, not a bad price.
So let's sell our house in Kitchener and buy two in Calgary.
Exactly, that's the title of the video.
This is insane, guys. You know what you can get in Toronto for this price, right?
You can probably get this. I mean, we are saying everything that, let's move to Calgary, let's buy a house there, but it's not easy even for us or for anyone who is, have a house here, settle all jobs and kids. It's just not easy to just move to Calgary.
All right. But if you can have a remote job, and if you are someone like behind the lens who are soon going to move to Canada, you want to stay in a city which offers great jobs, which has decent salary, and the most important, affordable house market. A person like me who wants to live closer to the nature, why not? Calgary is a great option.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? That reminds me what Asad said in our previous video. A city will determine how soon you will grow.
Yeah.
It might take you 10 years to grow in Toronto, whereas 3 years in Calgary.
It's a shortcut to success then. So what do you think? Will you move to Calgary? After watching this video, will you consider calling Calgary your home?
Let us know in the comments below. We would like to know what you think about it. And even if you disagree, please put that in comments as well. We love to know what you think.
Talking about the renting, because that's the first phase of this journey. Regardless which city you go in, you want to start your journey from renting a place. Now, unlike any other big city, Calgary also has a great options whether you want to rent a basement or a single bedroom apartment or even a furnished or non-furnished apartment. But the big difference is for the prices.
Yeah, so you can get a bachelor apartment for like $899. Or even a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,100, 2-bedroom apartment for $1,200. If you compare the prices to Toronto, they're at least $600 to $700 less.
Yeah. And we are just comparing apple to apple, downtown Calgary to downtown Toronto.
Now, even after all such benefits, there are people who are in total contradiction of moving to Calgary. And there are reasons for that. We're going to talk about it before the end of the video.
Who are those people like? Who are those people look like you and me?
Well, they look like someone else.
Talking about the neighborhood, there are some great neighborhoods that we really like around the Calgary. These are Brentwood, Chestermere, Rosedale, Calgary Centre. Now, if you're a family-oriented person or if you're staying with a family, you would love to stay in these neighborhoods because these are the mature neighborhoods. They already have schools around them, grocery store, amenities.
Now, if you want to stay closer to Calgary downtown because maybe you work there or you just like the city life, the Calgary Central itself has huge inventory of houses, of different type of houses. It's not like Toronto downtown where you can't afford anything within the central downtown. Calgary has that option.
One more thing, guys, as you know, we don't have a car in Calgary. We have been either walking around the downtown or taking Uber or taxi to roam around the city. Now, Calgary, the best part about it, you can reach from one corner to another corner, even on the peak hour time, within 30 minutes.
If you are living or buying a house in Chestermere, you can easily commute to downtown Calgary for half an hour. That's not bad. Like, if you compare in Toronto, it takes like 1.5 hours or 1 hour even from Brampton to Toronto. Now we can make a detailed video on different neighborhoods of Calgary because we've been there and what's good about it, what's bad about these different prices, different inventory.
And if you really want to see that video, let us know in comments below. We'll wait for your input before we post that video.
And people say that I speak a lot.
Most of the people we have met there, for them Calgary was not their first choice. Either they have moved to Calgary from US or they have stayed in different provinces before ending up starting their life in Calgary. So here are a few reasons that we get to know from them why people don't actually move to Calgary at their first point.
First thing that we got is that they never heard about Calgary. All they know about or all they heard about Toronto or Surrey or Brampton, they didn't know where is Calgary.
Are you out of those who think that Brampton is the capital of Canada?
Or Toronto is the capital of Canada?
You won't be wrong. 95% of immigrants think that way.
Another thing that we got is that there are not a lot of jobs in Calgary. People think that every job or all the opportunities actually exist in Toronto.
Which is not true. Not true at all. Just whatever the information that you are hearing from anybody around you, double check it. Google Baba, the best one-stop shop to answer all your questions.
One more thing that we heard from people is because their friend or relative, they came to Toronto, they followed them. So people, they just follow each other without thinking or doing any research.
We all are like penguins. They keep on marching in one direction without looking left or right. They don't know where they're going, but they are just catching up a train or a bus. Toronto, 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 let's go to Toronto.
And the lastly is, what we got from people is, the Calgary is cold. Well,
It is.
It is definitely cold, and especially in winter it is colder, but you know, Calgary has really nice summer days.
Luckily for us, this week that we have staying in Calgary, the weather is really very nice. It's not cold for us. Even for Asha, she's having a best time here.
Anyways guys, so I hope that this video gave you a good motivation to go to Calgary, or at least visit Calgary. You know, go to Jasper, go to Banff. They're just 1 hour away. Amazing places to go.
Those are the next spot that we're gonna cover in coming days. So guys, stay tuned, watch our vlogs, motivate us, and enjoy the Calgary with us.
Exactly, we're gonna show you the real nature. We have actually rented an RV and we're gonna drive the RV for the first time. She's gonna drive the RV too.
That's on my to-do list.
We're gonna go to Lake Louise, we're gonna go to different lakes, we're gonna do a camping, overnight campings, a lot of fun.
Yeah, now you guys can close watching this video. It's okay. He's gonna keep on talking.
I'm so excited.